Well, if you followed along in the last video, you've seen that we ended up getting done with wheat. Now we just got a pile of straw to finish getting baled up here. Now, in that last video, I ended up taking this clutch apart. I was going to just replace the fiber discs. However, they sent me the wrong ones. We originally seen these discs cracked. However, we did not know that this plate here was cracked. So Alex went and got parts for it. Got the wrong discs, so we couldn't run it. We ended up running the John Deere baler. I ordered these parts, and what you see on this bench here is $4,084 worth of parts. The freight wasn't bad. The freight was $98 to get the parts in overnight for a Saturday delivery. Now, in the parts illustration, it didn't quite look like this disc was just like that one. So I ended up ordering the shaft. It's going to be wise to replace all the bearings in there. I ended up getting 2 extra fiber discs. The clutch discs itself, they were $355 a piece. That shaft was $650. So $710, $650, we got $1,360 worth of parts that we probably don't need. So we're gonna go ahead and put this together quick, get it on the baler, and then we're going to bale with both balers today just so that we can get this straw cleaned up. We've got about 140, 50 acres to clean up here today, so this should go rather easy. I've got to pull a couple of snap rings out of here, get this shaft apart just to see what it looks like. If it looks like it's wore at all, I'm just going to go ahead and use the new one. Well, we've got this apart, and I'm not going to lie, I've never done this before, and I almost had a major catastrophe. I pounded this out. When I had this come out, all these dogs came apart. There is 6 of them, and behind each dog there's 3 springs. I had a few of them fall out on the floor. A couple of them were still in my hand, stuck to all these little dog pieces here, and I was able to reclaim all of them. There are 18 of them. So had I known what that actually was like, I'd know a little bit more about how to do this. So we're gonna put them back on there. I'm gonna put 2 new bearings in. I do not have to use that old shaft there, or the new shaft. If I looked at this shaft, I would question things a little bit as to why is there holes in there. But I thought this, I didn't know what the heck I had. So we're gonna go ahead and put some new bearings in here, use the old shaft, and get it all installed into the new hub. Okay, we very carefully were able to get all those springs in there. And now we're going to drop it in this new hub here, and then we'll just pull this zip tie off of there. There. We put the bearing in after because I was worried that if I had to force it into the bearing, that Alright, so this is what this looks like from this back side here, and I'm going to put some oil down in there. And what I'm doing now is I'm just freewheeling it more or less. So when the PTO engages, all of those dogs click into the inner part of this hub here. It's a drag style clutch. And then when you shut the PTO off so that it doesn't turn against the tractor, what it does is it just freewheels like that. So before we put this little dust cap on here, we're just going to sprinkle some, pour some oil in there and push a little bit of grease in it as well. And then we can get this, we got to put one more shim in here, the bearing, and then this dust cap here. And then we can go ahead and put it on the baler itself. Alright, what I did is I poured some gear oil in here, and I put just a dab of wheel bearing grease in there. Not too much because we don't want this to pack in. And we've got to throw our shim in here. Then our new bearing. And then we've got a snap ring, or this dust cap, and then a snap ring. And then we can go ahead and bolt it into the hub itself. Okay. Perfect. All put together. Yeah.
Was it the apartment's been long ago, it looks like.
Was that? I haven't been down there.
I stopped down there yesterday. All the holes are fixed in the walls, ceiling's painted. Yeah.
Is that tire low today, or was it alright?
No, it's flat, it's up there.
Now we're getting ready to set this clutch in there. We had a YouTube visitor stop in today and say hello. That was Adam Poirier that stopped in. Dropped off a nice 30 pack of PBR. And for some of you, you might not know this, but in these bed liners, they have them molded so that you could set your can of beer right on the tailgate. This one here, I don't know what the larger one's for. What's the larger one for? Now that'd be a big bottle right there. Maybe a big whiskey bottle. That's what it is. A big whiskey bottle. But yeah, these are carefully made to hold your can of beer. There's 2 on each side. I have yet to figure out what the larger one's for. I got another trailer coming in, get a load of milk. So we're just gonna set this in there. I'm gonna use Nate to help me get it down in there, bolt it up, put our shaft into place, and then we are going to start baling here in a little while. They changed oil on this tractor. Being that we had 2 tractors planting corn, I didn't quite get there with planting corn to have to change it. However, it was kind of ready to be done here. So, we'll get this in there. Right, Nathan? Yep. Alright, we've got that all on there, and we're going to go ahead and start it. Yeah, another thing that we ended up putting in on this was this stuffer chamber stripper plate right there. That's gonna, we put that second wide one in right there. And then how this baler works, this has a pre-compression chamber. So what the baler does is it loads this, this U-shaped piece here. It stacks that full. The plunger's going back and forth, but it doesn't have any material in there. So it waits to get that chamber full. Once that gets full, then this arm will drop and it'll push that's in that chamber there up to the plunger. And what that does is it makes and it helps you build a more even bale. The John Deere baler, that's got material going up to the plunger every time that plunger's making a stroke. It's pushing material into the bale. This also has a pre-cutter on it as well. We've got these fingers in here, and in between each finger you can put a knife. We only have, I think we've only got 3 knives in there, and we've only got them up about that far. There's a big knife bed underneath here. You can drop that down and put all the knives in, and you can cut this stuff up to, the material will be about that big because it has to push the material by the knives every time that rotor goes around. But we want long straw. So I think we can take this to the field now. There's some more knives. This is what the knives look like right here. Well, this is all ready to go. We've got it all greased up, loaded with twine, got grease in the greaser. Everything is all greased. Got good chain tension there. And we're gonna try to get done baling straw here today, and then we can clean these balers up and get them put away, and then we could start on doing these seedings here. But you can see that we've been into some stones here. Gonna knock that one out. This one here out. So, yeah, we should be good to go. Well, the baler's just pulled out here a little while ago. I've got this Pottinger Terra disc hooked on the 9410. Sarah's gonna take off with that here in a little while. So we just got done, well, didn't just get done doing it, but we did it just after we got done prepping ground for planting corn on. We ended up putting all new, brand new discs on there. So this is gonna work like a new machine now. So she just needs to pull it up and get some fuel, and then she can start getting this ground ready so that we can seed everything down to alfalfa. So we're gonna go ahead and head along to the field where they're raking, and then we'll check on the baling crew here as well. Well, we've just pulled in the field here. We got both balers running. Fitzy's running the rake over there. Jared's running this baler here, the John Deere. And Nate's running the Case baler on the other side of the power poles. Andrew, he is raking straw right now on another farm. These guys will all be together here in a little while. So we ended up using this Case baler here, or this John Deere baler, on Thursday when we were broke down with the Case baler waiting for parts. We don't like to use this baler any more than we have to because it's 20 years old. And there's not a lot of parts available for it anymore here. So we just kind of want to use it as a backup machine. And being that we have the other baler, we just use this only when we have to. He's got a broken bale. He's just going to gobble that up. No, he can't get over the top of it. Split it apart. Turn four-wheel drive on. There you go. Gobbling up that broken bale. We'll go over and see how Nate's doing here. 8220 on the John Deere baler, 8320R on the Case baler, and the 4320 on the rake. So we've got all 20 series tractors here, but they're in multiple generations. Got the first generation of the 20 series here, which that tractor is 50 years old. Then we've got the, oh, what would this one be? About the 4th generation. Yeah, I think it's the 4th, about the 4th generation now. 20 series, 20R series. And then you have the 8R. Wow, this really isn't a 20 series. This is an R. It just happens to be that the last 2 numbers are 20 in this one. But now the John Deere tractors more or less have the engine horsepower and the model number, whereas the previous models prior to, or previous to the R were not. Looks like that slip clutch is doing its thing here. It is mighty dusty. They have declared a drought for Onondaga County here now. So this ground is marginal ground, but I think our best wheat was in this field right here. And our worst wheat was in the field, or the farm that we're going to be going to after this one here. So leave your comments down below as to which unit looks better, the 8320R with the Case International Baler, or the 8220 with a John Deere. Well, everything is going pretty smooth here. They're actually baling the last piece of straw of our own. And then we've got some straw that we bought off a neighbor on this same road, just around the corner, half a mile or so away here. So we just kind of fly the drone around these guys a little bit. Now in combining video, I kind of described that we were dealing with issues of the wheat being somewhat damaged by the hail, and what had happened to this wheat is the the grain itself got knocked out of the heads of the wheat plant itself, and there's a lot of grain here on the ground. Let me see if I can get up in front of these guys. All you guys are getting is the view of the dust coming off of both balers. So you can see we've got some green vegetation growing, and that is some of the wheat that has seeded itself here, or reseeded itself. And we're figuring that we lost anywhere from 10 to 20 bushel of wheat per acre here. So both balers are pounding away here. The piece that we were on earlier was 10-12 miles from here down in Marcellus. My nephew Fitzy, he ended up raking ahead of the balers down in Marcellus, and then Andrew was over here raking this ground here, and then both rakes got together and they actually just pulled out of here a little while ago. So I ended up getting a phone call during one of them last clips when I was asking, you know, which baler configuration looks better here. Does the Case International baler and the 8320R, does that look better than the 8220 and the John Deere 100 baler? This Case baler here, we ended up buying this baler used. It only had a couple thousand bales on it, and we bought that in 2012. So it was a year or two old then, and that is just over 10 years old. And that John Deere baler, I had said it was closing in on 20 years. I think it's about 18 years old, to be honest with you. So we'll just kind of fly around here a little bit while these guys are baling this last little bit up here. Now you can see that the balers, the John Deere baler has gotten in front of the Case baler here, and you'll get that from time to time. The John Deere baler will bale. It will bale a little faster than the old Case will. Jared, he is maybe halfway down across this field. Nate quite doesn't have the experience that Jared has, but he's also making sure he doesn't break anything. While we're videoing, we have had some twine issues that we were dealing with earlier here. That's why I'm not quite getting the drone up until this point of this time of the day, and I'm trying to get flown down in front of Jared here so that we can get both balers in the same clip. But that is not working. I'm gonna have to fly this drone a little faster here. But Jared is moving right along. They've only got, what do they got? Just 2 windrows left here. And what we're gonna do now, you can see both balers here. What we're gonna do is fly over the rest of this farm here. I think I can do it from where I'm at. I'm sitting kind of down in a hole, and we have trees around the edge of the field. I don't know where the heck this drone is. I think I might be above the power lines here. So they've only got a couple of windrows left here, so why don't we put the drone up in the air, and then we'll fly over this farm. There's about 85 acres over here in all, and we have rented this farm since the early 70s. So like I was saying, we're down on Rowie Road right now, and then we've got a 16 or a 17 acre piece here. There's an 18 acre piece on this upper side of this hedge, and then there's 6 acres that sits back in on the other side of that other hedge right there. Now this is in Cards Corners. The old well, the farmhouse and where the actual dairy barn is right over here. There's another 3 acre field up alongside the road, and then there's actually a creek that runs through these trees right here, and then we've got a couple of fields that are on the other side of this creek. Now the old dairy barn used to set right in up in front of us here, right kind of in the corner of this lawn. That barn was tore down, oh, maybe 15, 20 years ago here, and the gentleman's name that owned this farm, his name was Morris Cardwell. And when I was a real young kid, my grandfather used to take me around to a lot of these farms that he had, a lot of these farms and farmers that he had done business with throughout the years. And before Morris Cardwell passed away, I was able to meet him, and it was quite interesting back then. Back when our family started renting this farm, they were still milking cows here, and they didn't really need, well, towards the, after they sold the cows, I shouldn't say they didn't need the land. After they sold their cows, my family started renting this farm here, and then we've continued through a couple of generations now, renting it as well. But weak signal, I'm getting a weak signal. But when this guy was milking cows here, my grandfather actually was doing some custom silo filling, and he filled this guy's silo, and it was the last time that silo ever got filled, because the silo ended up falling over. I would assume it was one of them old wooden silos. Always typical when you have a piece of red equipment in the same field that you have green equipment in on. The green piece of equipment ends up finishing up the job. So I landed the drone a little while ago here. While I was bringing the drone down, Nate had stopped. I don't know what he's got wrong. I'm making my way to him now. And the old 20-year-old John Deere Baler is finishing a windrow that the case baler started on. So Jared's gonna swallow up the rest of this windrow here. Nate really doesn't know what he's got, what he's looking at. I'm gonna have to help him. But you can see Nate is right there. So we'll go ahead and see what Nate's got going on. I don't know if he sheared a pin on the nodder drive or what, but looks like he might go ahead and back her out of the way so that the John Deere can finish the job. gonna go over and see what Nate's got going on. What do you got?
Slipping the clutch.
Slip the clutch. You open the chamber? Now we got the clutches slipping here. That just went bang. So all he had wrong was he was actually trying to Alright, come here, Nate.
They like you.
This is what happened. He was just trying to go the same speed as the John Deere. And that's all that happened. So, we just opened up the chamber here. And yeah, you just open up the chamber, it'll let it go, and then it started up for him. So it was just slipping that clutch. But I might need to adjust that clutch a little farther. So that was slipping up front. Yeah.
It smells like
I might have to tighten that up a little bit. Is that the first you've seen it slip? Yeah. Alright. Next field's over there. Alright, so everything is good here. We just need to adjust that clutch a little bit up front. Your bale is good. Everything's good. So what we wanted to make sure is the bale was off of the back on both balers.
He knows.
He knows. Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
Yeah. Now they can road both of these. We have had situations where we thought we were good and we ended up dropping a bale right in the road. So that's gonna do it for this video, folks. Take her easy, and we will catch you at the next one.